Good morning, everybody. This is Danny from Deepsouth Homestead, and Wanda's going to be here with me today. Guys, it's time they got to go. They're over, and that's the English peas here. I mean, you look at them. It's gotten to be too hot now. The heat is they've succumbed to the heat. They've got very few beans on them, and the beans that's left on them, I'll show you in here. They look really bad. They got the old powdery mildew all over them. The peas are still good, but the hulls are all bad, and there's not hardly any peas left on them. They've the heat has just wiped them out. So what we're doing now is we're going down through here and we're picking them and pulling the plants up at the same time. Now these plants will not be composted. A lot of people ask me, will we compost them? And I'm like, no, because they've got that old powdery mildew blight on them like this here. They'll be just thrown in the woods and allowed to decompose in one of the trash piles out there over the next few years. And but guys, we got to have this for more planting area here. So we're trying to actively get them out early in the morning here, because during the day, if you take it out when it gets to be hot, that powdery mildew stuff, the mold off of it just floats around in the air everywhere. So if we do it in the morning while it's damp, it's not so bad about it. It kind of stays the plants, but your hands get all sticky and nasty, you know. It's one of the things you have to contend with. But I want to show you something else while we're here. I want to show you the difference field versus greenhouse on a particular vegetable that we're growing, and that vegetable is going to be the cucumber. And I want you to look at the cucumber plants in the field. Okay, guys, I want you to look at this cucumber plant here. This thing is the same age as the ones in the greenhouse is, and it's just a little spindly little plant here. I mean, it doesn't even have any cucumbers. I picked one off of it just a few minutes ago, and look at it. I've hardly picked any cucumbers off of it out here in the field at all. The one in the greenhouse is already like 12 feet tall now, and we're getting tons of cucumbers off of them. Now this is a Stonewall. Let's move down here. This is a National Pickling here. Now this one's a little longer, but look how pitiful it looks. The sun is beating down on it so bad out here. It's just, there's not hardly any leaves. It looks bad. I'm trying to see, is there even a pickle on it somewhere?
Right.
One right here. One right there. And
There's some small ones,
there's some little ones.
like right here.
But look at the plant. The plant just doesn't look good at all. And another thing, I'm going to show you something here. Let me get this off here, and I can get him killed. I don't like to. See this here? We're outside out here. When you're outside, stink bugs. They ravish everything outside. And as a matter of fact, I'm sitting here looking. Here's another one. Right there. There's another one. Look at him. That's another problem outside. In the greenhouse, it's very minimal because I put screen around the greenhouse and we leave it closed up during the night. We open it during the day, but we still haven't had much problem in the greenhouse. I think I found 2 stink bugs all year in the greenhouse, and they're not this type. They're the little small green ones. And look here, there's another one. See, that's why we're actively trying to grow in a greenhouse, guys. I'm sitting here looking, you know, oh, there's one right there, just fell right there. This is why. And look up under the leaves. See that? See those eggs up under the leaves? This is the problem with growing outside. Insect infestation. Now you gotta go along and just bump your plant. If there's any on it, they'll usually fall. But guys, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes, here's another one. He climbed up the wire right there. They're starting this year, and they're going to be bad. So that's why we want to go ahead. Stink bugs, I've learned here at Deepsouth Homestead, people ask me, why don't you use chemicals on everything? There's a reason. Insects come in cycles. This right here tells me that this cycle is ready to rock and roll and ready to start laying eggs and ready to reproduce. The best thing for me to do right now, get this stuff out of here, let it rest for a week, and then let that cycle work its way out. And they have nothing to lay eggs on here, and then get ahead of the cycles. I try to stay ahead of cycles. Like the English peas are all done now. The stink bugs are just now starting, and we don't have to worry about them on the English peas because we've already harvested all the English peas except for today, and after today there won't be any more. Okay guys, you know another thing about doing this is you find all those peas that you missed that's good seeds that's dried on here. And but we're gonna finish going ahead and getting all this took up, and I don't want you to sit here and watch me do this. And guys, now that we're getting all these taken up, we're gonna come in here behind this with the broad fork. We're gonna probably wet the ground pretty good. Well, we'll take the batwing hoe first. We're gonna come through with the Hoss tool, has a batwing hoe. Works perfect for this. This is, Wanda just loves it. Come in here and we'll cut all the weeds off with the batwing hoe because it's real small and it's real thin and it gets between everything really good. We'll clean everything up, and then once we clean all the weeds out, we're gonna wet it down good, and we're gonna come in behind it with a broad fork, and we're gonna broad fork this thing, and then we're gonna come in and plant field peas behind it. And once we get the field peas planted, then we'll let them grow up on the trellises, and we won't have to bend over maybe and pick them as bad. And then plus, they do better sometimes when they're up on trellises. So we're gonna get that done, guys, but then I'm gonna, in a minute, I'm gonna take you and show you a little bit about the cabin garden and a few more things we got going on here. Okay guys, here's Wanda. She's picking our Cherokee yellow wax beans. And guys, let me tell you something. These things are doing, if we didn't know any better, let me put it that way. If we didn't know any better, we would look down through here and we'd go, wow, boy, what a pretty row. I mean, the color, you know, we would have looked at them and said, look at this plant. We'd have said, man, that's a nice looking thing. And then we come over here and those beans, we'd say, wow, we're doing really good with these, you know. But let me tell you something. Compared to the greenhouse, these look horrible, you know. And if you don't know, you don't know. That's just the thing about it. Now that we have the greenhouse and we see how things grow, where the climate is more evenly controlled and they're not out here with, I don't know if you call it chemtrails or whatever you want to call it, being sprayed on everything, and the sun bearing down on them. You know, in the greenhouse, they got a shade cloth, the humidity's under control, the temperature's decently controlled and stuff like that. It makes all the difference in the world. So,
water.
And they get watered every day, you know, I mean, because the system.
Here they get it sporadically because we don't get rain.
Right, and this is field stuff, so it gets watered when it rains, I guess you might say, or if we just happen to come over here and take time to pull water hoses out here and turn everything on.
Which doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't happen very often. The greenhouse is just easier to deal with, and we produce just as much out of the greenhouse as we do out here.
I got almost a 3/4 of a 2-gallon bucket of the yellow wax beans off those 2 pieces of a row. Danny's 3/4 of the way down one row, and then help him with the others.
Okay guys, Miss Wanda's got the last of the plants there. Ooh, we got a big old pile here. I'll have to be hauled off, but look at this right here. Nice clean rows.
Except for the weeds.
Except for the few weeds that's on there we got to take care of. Snap beans have been picked, rows been cleaned. Took us about 40 minutes. I don't think that's a bad time. And then we got, this is what we end up with. About 1/4 of a bucket. You see it over here next to these snap beans. Now, we're fixing to take you out and show you a little bit more of the stuff going on over here at the cabin garden. I think you'll enjoy it. Okay guys, we're at the old cold frame that we had here. We cleaned up everything. We put our Rutgers tomatoes in here. And I want you to look at these things. Now this is the Rutgers variety. I think they're doing pretty good. I mean, they need watering, but other than that, they look good. They got tomatoes all over them. They're loaded up. really nice. And even down in the midst of them down in here is some peppers. Those old peppers out of the hotbed we were raising. These are jalapenos. And I mean, I wish you'd just look at the tomatoes in some of these.
I'm getting them here.
These Rutgers are loaded. And this is an heirloom variety. They are doing extremely well. I mean, just look at the tomatoes everywhere.
The size.
The size of them. They're like that big around. They're huge.
They're getting big.
We just need to get some water on them. And then we got right here, we're back at our old sweet potato bed. We still got the red sweet potato slips here. We got a piece of garden cleaned up that we're fixing to replant some more in. This is the white ones. Now the white ones I got to do something with because they done starting to run on us here. They just seem like they Cadillacing now that it's getting a little warm. Especially some of these here got vines on them already. We got to get them out of here and get them in a field somewhere. But you know, one thing I have to say about this is a 4 foot by 4 foot. This is a 4 foot by 4 foot. Now guys, out of this bed right here, this 4 by 8 bed, I've planted myself personally right at 500 sweet potato draws on our property out of it. And I've gifted probably to neighbors and different people around over 100. So, and there's probably still another 100 here easy. You won't do this out of a jar, I'll assure you of that. And guys, right here beside the cold frame, we have a system set up here. We were going to have pots all down through here, but I'm working my butt off and I really haven't got all the pots in here yet. We do have one here that we've got a tomato plant in, and then we have down at the end, I have one that I have a cayenne pepper in. It's off by itself, so it doesn't cross-pollinate with any other peppers. But this tomato is a celebrity hybrid. It's doing pretty fair. Nothing like what's going on in the greenhouse. Now, this one's totally different. It probably doesn't get the amount of water that it needs, but guys, there's only so much of me and Wanda to go around. We just hit this stuff when we can. And we have a tomato plant way over yonder in that other pot. We didn't bring it over here because it had ants in it, so we just left it. It's the one out of our old greenhouse. We eat tomatoes off of this thing all winter long, and look at it. It's still got tomatoes on it. Guys, I decided to take the advice of the Native Americans. They planted their Cherokee tan pumpkins out next to the woods and trash piles and stuff like that. So I planted 2 of them down here, and I've got blooms, I've got vines, I've got a baby pumpkin right there. Look at that, there's a Cherokee tan. The male bloom has opened up, this thing is starting to run. I see another female over there, another Cherokee tan pumpkin over there. And what I done was, now these were some I started in a pot in the greenhouse, but I said, you know what, let's see how the seeds do. So I came out and I stuck a couple of seeds in the ground right here. I got 2 there, 1, 2 right here, and 2 down there. Now these don't look like they're doing too hot because it just ain't rained, guys. Our nights are dropping in the high 40s and low 50s, and in the days we're getting up in the 80s. That's a big variance in temperature difference, and these plants don't know what to do. You stick your hand in the soil's still cold. You come out in the middle of the day and the sun is blistering everything. So the plants right now are having a hard time figuring out what to do. Okay guys, this is one of our field of sweet potatoes, and the sweet potatoes are struggling. I'm not gonna lie to you. These cold nights, hot days, they don't know what to do. They're just kind of sitting dormant. We came in the other day and plowed them, then it rained right behind it a little bit. And looks like I'm gonna have to come back with a hoe now and go through here, and got a few little spots in it. There's a few little briars and weeds trying to pop up in here, but even the sweet potatoes are very confused. And once it warms up here, these things will take off. They just need it to be consistent. They don't need drastic 30 and 40 degree temperature changes because it leaves them confused as plants. They don't know what to do. Okay guys, we've got one more row of red sweet potatoes right here. We planted next to the corn all the way down through here. And this is Danny corn. I had some problems this year. I didn't realize my planter was stopped up. And when I planted, we waited for it to come up, and there was sections in it that never came up, and I went back and looked, and my planter had dirt stopped up in the thing where my seeds fall down in at. So we had to come back and replant in between everything, and now we've got 2 different stages of Danny corn coming up in here. Danny corn is one of them things, when I developed it, it's got to have room. You can't have it up close together. You got to have space in between them. You get in here where this corn's too thick at, and it's not going to do nothing. I'm pulling this stuff up out of here. It's got to be spaced out. Look at the size of this stalk here. This is what it's supposed to look like. If you get it too thick, it won't do anything. Now I'm going to leave this little one here beside it right now, because this one is so large, it's already up and ahead of it. Let me see these. You got just too many through here. Because Danny corn needs lots of nitrogen in order to produce and produce abundantly. Guys, I'm gonna walk down this way and throw this corn over in there. The cows will be down this way after a while. They'll find it. Be a good snack for them. All right, guys, this is our sugarcane. It looks awesome. It is doing fantastic. I mean, this stuff is just beautiful. I've been able to take care of it. We have 2 different varieties here. We have the old-timey syrup making variety right here on these bottom 3 rows. The top row is a little short row of the red chewing cane. But this sugar cane is doing amazing. I mean, it is really, I'm really pleased with what happened. A lot of y'all ask me about sugarcane a lot. A lot of you ask about buying it. Well, we don't sell it this time of the year. You only sell sugarcane in the fall, usually around October. So if you're interested in it, you can check back with me this October and we may have some for sale. But also, a lot of you ask about making syrup and what you do with it and how you do it and all this kind of stuff. Guys, we'll have in the playlist up here, we have everything to do with sugarcane, from the planting of sugarcane to the putting it on a biscuit, on a syrup on the table. I mean, all the way through the whole process. There's a list of videos where we show you every step of the way, what you do, how you do it, and it's really an enjoyable thing to have. It's a very sustainable thing. And also, I have a video up called the top 6 sustainable garden vegetables and things that you want to have on a homestead to be able to survive. It'll be in the link up here also, showing you that video. And if you want to be interested in the top 6 things to have on a homestead to survive, go check that video out. All right, guys, it's almost 8 o'clock. We're at the front garden. Done had to come out of long sleeves. It's already getting hot. It's how fast it can heat up here. We've already got 1 row completed down through here. We have cucumbers up here too. The Stonewall and the National Pickling, still not comparing to what was in the greenhouse. You know, I mean, stuff outside is just not going to compare. So we got to hurry up here before the heat gets on us any further and try to get the rest of this out. And then we're going to show you a little bit more about this garden. And while I'm working on getting the rest of this done, Miss Wanda's here picking the Cherokee yellow wax beans here. This garden, they didn't do good here in the front. They came up spottedly, but you know what? In a lot of ways, I mean, look at this here.
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful.
We love these yellow beans.
Love the Cherokee yellow wax beans. In a lot of ways, the plants are getting a lot larger because they're further apart. So who knows? We may still get the same amount of harvest. But now, check out this row right here. Look at this row right here, going all the way up. Not hardly anything. That's the contenders. That's what they did this year, and that's what they look like compared to the Cherokee yellow wax beans. So, guys, contenders are out for us. The Cherokee yellow wax beans are in for us. Guys, row cover has more benefits than one. Makes it a whole lot easier just to throw this stuff down the aisle and take your feet and just slide it out the other end. Peaches and cream, sweet corn, it just jumped overnight. I kept the water to it, and man, did that stuff jump overnight. And I'm gonna tell you something, I think by the weekend, we're gonna be harvesting corn to put in the freezer. But you know us at Deep South Homestead, we just gotta check it out ahead of time. I'm gonna just kind of randomly grab an ear here or two, and let's just see how it's doing, because I have to do that in order to know when it's going to be time to pick it. So I'm going to pick one right here at the beginning. The silks are good and dead on it there. good full feeling ear. Now it may not be ready, I don't know. He come off real easy. This will tell me how close I am to being ready to.
Woo! Baby, we having corn.
Look at this.
Isn't that beautiful?
Look at that.
No worms in the top. We caught the worms in plenty of time.
Look at that.
That's awesome.
Guys,
Now you got to find me one. You got yours.
Deepsouth Homestead is ready to eat sweet corn, the peaches and cream. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Okay, go find me one.
Yep.
Find me one.
Find you one?
Yep. Find me one.
We may have to pick 2 or 3 of them. I don't know. Let's check out this one right here. Oh, that one came off real easy. So
It's ready. It is ready.
It probably is ready. Let's check it out here and see.
We may be doing sweet corn. Ooh,
Look at that.
look.
Look at that. Oh my gosh.
We're going to be eating tonight. You're going to have to, let's do about 4 of them. I think we're going to need more than
Let's
2.
Let's shuck this thing back up instead of down.
So it won't
We don't
dry
want
out.
We don't want it to dry out on us. We get it home, get it in the refrigerator. Oh, that one came off real easy.
Wow. We may be doing corn before
Maybe
we
doing
know it.
corn before the weekend. Who knows?
What's today? Today's Wednesday.
Oh, this one could have went another day or 2, but it's still eatable. We'll still eat it.
Okay. So we need another one.
Okay.
We're going to do cream style.
Yeah, we'll probably do cream style.
So you got to have a couple more.
Gotta
probably.
need at least 4. Let's look right here. Oh yeah. Oh man, that one fell off. Let's check it out. Silks are good and dry. Look at that. Beautiful sweet corn. We don't like ours over mature. Okay guys, we got our 4 good ears here, and Wanda and I will take these to the house and we'll cut them off the cob, make us some cream style corn for today. Man, I'm amazed. I'm excited now. Okay, next in line for today, we got to go down this long row of squash here, and we got to pick squash, guys. I'm pretty sure there's some on there that needs picking. And then we got the tomatoes on the other side. They're coming along good. Got a row of okra in the middle. And guys, you know what? What time is it? It's 8:36 in the morning. I still got to pick this. That is not the end of our morning. We're going to take a short break after we pick the squash and check the tomatoes, and then we head to the blueberry field because we're picking blueberries like crazy. Okay guys, before we pick the squash, I remember in the beginning when we first planted these English peas, we had the morning garden where the sun hit it in the morning. We had the one where the sun hit it in the evening. And this was an experiment to see how they done. Well, let's just talk about that for just briefly. I did not see any difference in the production of them. They both produced about the same amount of English peas. They both died at exactly the same time. So there's no really accurate answer there as to whether morning sun or evening sun is better for the English peas here in the Deep South, because they both performed exactly the same. Now there was one time during the middle that the garden on the hill produced more in a picking than this one did, and that's simply because the rows are longer than these rows. That was the honest reason for that. Okay guys, while we're picking the squash, we happen to turn around and notice our okra. It's starting to put little blooms on right there and there. It jumped up overnight. This is the Jambalaya Okra from Hoss Tool. Okay guys, we love this variety of squash. This is called the Gold Prize from Hoss Tool Company. It's a straight neck squash. We don't like our squash to get real big old squash and big around because the seeds start maturing in them. We want them before the seed mature. They're a lot tenderer that way. Now, you're going to have one every now and then that literally jumps up overnight. And let me tell you something. You see those marks there? If you don't like seeing those marks in your squash, you need to wear gloves when you pick them because your fingernails will actually scratch them. This is my celebrity hybrids out here in the garden. We have them in the greenhouse, but this is my basic garden ones out here. Now, I can't complain about these. These get probably half a day of shade. They get some morning sun to dry them off, and then the rest of the day is in the shade. Guys, I tell you, I can't complain. I mean, I'm really taking care of these. Look in there at those tomatoes. These things are just beautiful. Look at the size of those tomatoes. Those things are gorgeous.
And there's not just one or two. They're loaded.
They're loaded. I mean, you come around. If I pick back leaves, I mean, look up in here. Look at the tomatoes up in there. These things are just hanging everywhere. And it's not just one plant. You go down through here. If I pull back leaves, look up in there at the tomatoes up in there. These plants.
And that one over there.
Yeah, these plants are literally loaded. And we got them in different locations on the property just to see if anything is any different. The greenhouse is performing awesome. These are performing awesome. Now we are finding more insects on these out here than we are in the greenhouse. No tomato worms yet. We are finding a tiny little worm about 1 inch to ½ inch long, but I'm staying on them. I spend about 2 hours a day in the tomatoes, and it seems like I'm able to keep everything under control. I'm able to train the tomatoes. I come out here every day. I make sure these are all staying inside the cage where they go right up through the center of it. I take all the bottom leaves off, anything that's touching the ground where airflow can get underneath it. Things are working great this year with the tomatoes, and if the Lord willing, we're gonna get a great harvest, guys. So, okay guys, here is 2 examples of those worms I'm talking about. Not sure what variety they are or what they're even called, but this is what I'm finding on my tomatoes this year. I've never had this problem before. And I've had hornworms, but I've never had a worm like this. So
and this is how they eat the leaves.
Yeah, this is how they eat holes in the leaves, like there and here. And they will eat your tomatoes. I found 2 tomatoes that they bored holes in. So maybe y'all can put in the description down below, well, in the comments down below, what you think they are. I don't have time to go online looking for them. I'm just going to be honest with you.
But what you look for is leaves that are eaten.
Yeah, when you see the holes eating the leaves,
poop.
Look, like little poop spots.
Right, like right here.
Yeah, when you see little droppings like that, that's where I found these 2. Just take your time and look.
Look for leaves that are eaten and the poop.
And then turn your leaves upside down, because that's what I did. And a lot of times, I've learned that when you move the leaf, these worms will just turn loose and fall to the ground. So be cautious of that. That's a good thing about this row cover. If one falls to the ground, I hear him when he hits it, and then I know to look for him. But these 2 here, I just happened to flip a leaf over, and there they were. And I told Wanda, I said, let's get a picture and show our subscribers what we're facing here. Probably a new insect, I don't know. Everything else seems to be happening this year. Why not have a new insect along with it? See, this perfectly good tomato has a hole in it right there, and when I pull back this right here, you have to look real careful now. Look right there. There's one of those worms. He's already chewed a hole in the tomato. He didn't just destroy the tomato. He didn't eat all the way in it. He just ate a hole in it, and then he went up to the top. This is what I'm talking about, the damage that they're doing. This is why you come out every morning. And some people say, you spend 3 hours in your tomatoes? Yeah. I go over every leaf in the plant, and I just sit there and check it, and I go from plant to plant.
And you still miss some sometimes.
Well, you'll still miss some sometimes, but this is the way I'm staying ahead of this problem. Now, a lot of people go, oh, you could spray them. We don't spray anything. I don't care if it's an organic mix or what. I don't spray my stuff. I don't want anything in my system that's not supposed to be there. So I'll go through here and hand pick them off. The chickens love them, and it just makes me feel better about my garden being fresh, clean produce. Okay guys, we're down here at the blueberry patch now. Ms. Wanda's picking blueberries. Look at this. Hold on, let me show them the tree. They're starting to get ready in here. Look at all them big old blueberries. I mean, look at the size of them things, guys. Look at that. Wanda's picking in her Hoss tool bucket here.
I put a ice cream bucket, a 1 gallon ice cream bucket, and it gives it some stability.
Yeah.
Makes it easier to tote.
But I'm just gonna take you just, I mean, this is, let me just walk you down through here. Look at this right here. Look how many blueberries is on. Now this is the premier blueberry. It is a blueberry that is a very good blueberry for here in the South. Show you, I mean, literally, they are everywhere on here. And getting ready, we have to get them off. And guys, look, I mean, I can't walk through every tree with you, but now I'm going to show you the other varieties we have. These are the Jalapenos. Now, these are really heavy producers, and this is the ones we've been picking for like 2 to 3 weeks now. We've picked a lot of them off, but some of the trees still have a lot on them. Like this tree here, it still has a bunch on it that's turning. We move on up here. This is another one of the Jalapenos. Look at this, guys. I mean, it looks like a tree full of candy. Look at that. Amazing. Okay, guys, we've got to get busy, finish picking these blueberries. Miss Wanda's working on this one here, and we still got to go pick the greenhouse and other chores that's got to be done. So we're going to stop this part of the video right now and get busy picking.